Renzo, is he crazy or he's just faking that he is crazy?
The sad part is that I know exactly who you're talking about. You don't even have to say it.
So, what is your answer?
Crazy or faking it?
You don't have to answer right now. You can answer later because this is a perfect segue to introduce today's expression,
Ah.
hacerse el loco.
Today's idiomatic expression is hacerse el loco. And of course, this is just a Spanish phrase.
Just a Spanish phrase. This is the companion podcast to News in Slow Spanish. Every week, we pick an expression from our catalog of idiomatic expressions. We have two big catalogs, one for News in Slow Spanish Spain, the other one from News in Slow Spanish Latino. And we pick one and we bring it to you in English and we discuss the origin, the uses, etc. If you want to see that expression in Spanish, you can visit News in Slow Spanish. But so, hacerse el loco. How would you translate that into English?
What? What are you talking about?
Hacerse el loco. ¿Estás
Sorry,
en la luna?
No, me estoy haciendo
That was
loco.
a previous episode
Different
expression.
one. But hacerse el loco is pretending that you don't understand something, or sometimes pretending that you don't even hear something. It is, in English, the equivalent, playing dumb.
Yeah, it's like asking your roommate or your husband or hey, can you do the dishes? And then, yeah, sure. And then, can you do the dishes? Yeah, sure. And the dishes never get made because the person se hace el loco. He plays dumb or he... literally, it means you play crazy.
That's right. Hours later, that person comes back. The dishes were not washed, and they say, "Oh, I didn't hear you say that."
Yeah, or oh wow, who did the dishes? The little fairy of the house.
That's right.
But now, seriously, we were talking about recent news. Any news, it could be any recent news, makes you think that some leaders are going crazy. But you know how there's one political theory that says that you're playing the mad.
Pretending to be crazy because it can lead your opponents, your rivals, to maybe lowering their guard or
to be afraid of you. Therefore, they don't know if you're capable of crazy things. It gives you more segue when you're negotiating, right? It's like, yeah, I'm not gonna make this guy angry because he's crazy.
Because someone crazy can be erratic, unpredictable, and dangerous.
Exactly.
Right. Isn't it counterintuitive to think that pretending to be crazy can put you in a position of more power? But I guess because you seem more threatening.
Exactly, of course. It's like, yeah, okay, sure, whatever you say. I'm not gonna mess up with you because I don't know how you're gonna react. So yeah, okay. You the two parts se hacen el loco.
Yeah.
The two parts ignore the reality or ignore the real conversation to play dumb.
And everybody knows that the best way to solve a problem is to ignore it, right? Okay. But in all seriousness, hacerse el loco, in English, to play dumb, it's right there in the phrase. It is pretending to be, in this case, crazy, loco, or
to avoid confrontation, to avoid responsibility, to avoid ruling a country in a sane way.
But that second one is the key. Avoiding accountability and responsibility is the main use for that expression.
Exactly. In Spanish, we use it especially for that. Hey, no te hagas el loco.
Yeah.
Listen to me. I'm asking you to do this, or I'm asking you to do the dishes, to make your bed. No te hagas el loco.
Right.
Or no te hagas la loca.
Well, recent examples from some of the world leaders and without naming names, but very specifically, someone posting a really controversial image, AI-generated image of themselves in an appearance that is really hard to say is not Jesus Christ.
It was a doctor.
Oh, right. That's what I heard.
The Red Cross.
Well, but that's the point. When I'm just going to say it, when Trump was asked if he really meant to share an image of himself as Christ, se hizo el loco. He played dumb. He said, oh, no, that was just me as a doctor.
Yeah, but that's what we were discussing this morning for real. It's like, is he a genius or is he really losing mental abilities?
Right. So then the question becomes, did he actually believe honestly that that image was him as a doctor? Or is
Exactly.
he
Or people know
playing
he
dumb?
sometimes plays the card of the erratic, unpredictable leader. So
Right.
when you post an image like that, people might be afraid of, okay, he's losing it. Let's not mess up with him.
Right.
Let's concede in this and then wait for time to pass.
It's a really interesting question because I've always kind of leaned into the idea, and so many critics do, that, oh, this is craziness, this is dementia, narcissism, etc. But there is a possibility that there's something more cold and calculated about it. Right?
Exactly, because I don't think it's that easy to come up with things so crazy.
Well, and then that's the other consequence of dealing with someone that all the time se hace el loco, plays dumb, plays crazy all the time. You don't know what to believe anymore, and I think that's part of the goal.
It is very difficult to deal with that. So, what is the origin of that expression?
Well, this expression is very old and colloquial. It's evolved out of common use, so it's really hard to pinpoint an exact origin.
But it's very common both in Spain and Latin America.
Yes, which should tell you that it's very old.
Yes, exactly, of course.
But the meaning is right there, pretending to be crazy. Loco, crazy.
We're using one recently, but that's not even in our catalog, but the young people use it, which is fingir demencia.
Oh, that's more literal.
Yeah, fingimos demencia y seguimos adelante. We fake that we're crazy and we continue going.
And not even just crazy, but faking dementia.
Dementia, yeah. We're faking dementia, which is similar.
Yeah.
But sorry, I interrupted you.
No, absolutely. And just exactly to my point, these phrases, they evolve colloquially, they evolve constantly over time. And so it's really difficult to pinpoint one exact origin. However, you may have heard this variation. Like so many expressions, both in English and in Spanish, we have variations that pop up through time and in different places. Have you heard the variation hacerse el sueco?
Yes. Wow. To fake that you're Swedish? Isn't that racist?
Well, I always wondered why hacerse el sueco. And, there are many other examples of phrases that use a nationality to, use a stereotype basically to comment on someone's
Swedish
behavior.
People lazy or crazy?
Well,
That's
here's
weird.
the interesting thing. It's not about Swedish people at all.
Good. I'm glad because we have a Swedish colleague that we really like.
Yes. So hacerse el sueco, a variation of hacerse el loco, is actually not referring to the Nordic country Sweden, but suecos with a Z, those wooden shoes, the clogs.
The clogs, like the very famous. Yes.
Yes. And so the idea is hacerse el sueco is pretending like you're wearing clogs because those shoes, those hard wooden shoes, were associated with someone being very clumsy, especially if they have no practice or experience walking in clogs.
No way. So so you're clumsy, so you're
clumsy
kind of crazy,
equals dumb equals crazy. Yes, the same, all very loosely associated, but the same idea, being clumsy or dumb or crazy, meaning that you're not responsible for what happens around you.
Wow, that's interesting. So which other examples can you think of people who are right now haciéndose en los locos, faking they're not understanding really what's happening to moving forward? Like, for example, do you think the Pope could engage in a direct confrontation and, or just, whatever, continue with his life?
Oof, that's well, I don't know. I think it's probably wise to stay clear of politics in that case, because the other parties involved, they're doing all the heavy lifting and honestly making themselves look bad.
Yeah.
So hacerse loco in this case, like you said, probably the smartest move.
Exactly. Which is like, sometimes I have so many friends that are living like the avestruz, enterrando la cabeza como un avestruz.
Oh, yeah, we've done that one too.
Like living...
with a head under a rock.
With a head under a rock. Hacerse loco is a little bit like that. It's like, I'm in another planet.
Sometimes playing dumb is self-preservation then.
That's a beautiful closing.
It all depends on how you use it.
So now you know, hacerse el loco. And thank you for joining us in another episode of Just a Spanish Phrase. And we hope to see you next time.
Bye.